good morning, good afternoon, good day, and maybe to some of you, good night, but wherever you are, it's Joyful Mondays. And I am Joy Ruffin. Welcome. You're always welcome here. The work that we do here is as a leadership and style consultant, a signature style specialist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. But this Joyful Monday is to bring you featured guests, and I have a great guest for you today. But before we get to him, and don't we love when we have our gents come on, I want to talk to you a little bit about the work that we do here, which is style and leadership. And so the topic today is Your Style Savvy Guide. You create a wardrobe that says, wow, for you. It's individualized and it's professional because it's you. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's so many ways, but you know that I always start off with a quote. And welcome if you're here. It's going to be a great week. I feel it in the air. There's a lot of energy about. So here's a quote that fits the topic today. And into this topic goes my featured guest because he's talking about a lot of good things that have to do with travel and how you do it. So hold tight. But dress like you're already famous. That was said by New York and Company. Well, isn't that great? Why not? Even though it's casual today, you want to look like you own the room and the place that you're at. And also another one that connects and relates to that, expect the unexpected. And whenever possible, be the unexpected. Wow, that's great. Because it's all about energy. It's all about how you project your presence, your passion, and the presence that you bring to the table with whatever you are about. So friends, just remember that your style guide is individualized and indicative to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. This is a very touchy subject because when it comes to style, people think of the red carpet and they think of the runway. But no, we're thinking about everyday folks like you and I. Of course, we're thinking to the 3 to 5%, those who are more interested in quality than quantity, because casual has become a way of life. And that's good. But you're a professional. You're in leadership. So you want to make sure that you lead with who you are, everything about you, head to toe, top to bottom, hair to shoes. Now, some people say, well, it's more my brains and my brilliance and so on, and your gift that you were given. Yes, but you are here to invite your presence in to be viewed and mirrored by others so they can find their gift and their genius. Buy and choose well, and whatever you buy, make it last. You want to learn how to blend and to mix and to share all the different variations of style. You don't have to be classic. Classic is boring for a lot of people. You're eclectic and a little drama added into that. Well, add that spice that you need, but make it indigenous to you. Make it something that has balance. Balance is a key word when it comes to style. Your style is indigenous to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. Even if you're wearing the same color and even the same style, it's different on you, especially if it's designed and it's the right style for you. And here's a quote that I want to share with you because this resonated with me to the marrow of my bones. I love that quote from me to you because here's what the quote said. And I want you to just take this in. You know, we love food for thought here. Your talent, your gift, your style, your presence, I'm adding in something here, is God's gift to you. What you do with your gift back to God is beautiful indeed. Isn't that powerful? Doesn't that say a lot to you about who you are, how you serve people, how you relate and connect to people, and what you're here to do, no matter what it is, because everybody has a different mission, a different purpose, and a different way of connecting. And if you're in the 3 to 5 percentile, you care about quality. Mediocrity doesn't fit your DNA. It just doesn't. By the way, keep in mind as I speak these words of wisdom, that there is no better than, there is nobody on a high totem pole, even wearing a tiara or a crown, because we're all part of this collective and we're all unified and one. And as long as you keep that in mind and at your heart and soul, the core of you, you'll be fine. Because no matter how you rise, climb, scale, and escalate to where you're meant to be, you will find that You're the same. You might have different variations here and there, might be a lot of differences about you, but underneath it all, you are the same, just like any and everybody else. And as long as you keep that in mind and don't go with your nose up in the air and think that you're better than anybody, then you're going to be just fine because you show up like the king or the queen or the goddess that you are. Now, here are words that are overused and underplayed sometimes, but you are your own queen. Not maybe for someone else, but for you. But I prefer the word goddess because when you develop and find your own signature and you know who you are and that know thyself and that confidence is there, then you're able to project your savvy guide and style in the best way because it projects you. Now let's talk a little bit about something here that's going to tie in with what we're going to deliver to you today from my featured guest. For those of you who don't know me, love to travel. Travel is in my blood. It's in my DNA. I can't stay in one place for very long. And when I do, I get itchy. I have to go. And to travel, to learn different cultures, different countries, different topography, all of that, language, it's good and it's fun. So what I want you to do, because we're going to talk about a little bit about travel, but this guest, before I introduce him, I want to take a quick little reset. And I want to introduce you to something that if you are not there already, well, you belong there. You belong in Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. And if you're a gent out there, your lady belongs here because we are all about her vision and yours, your mission and your purpose, how you celebrate and acknowledge the divine feminine in you. So if you're not a member of this group, you're invited to come and join us. We're a great group of women, ladies, I like to say. Some people think that's an old-fashioned word. I love the word lady. Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies is where you're going to belong, and you're going to collaborate and meet with a lot of others. And hopefully that change, collaboration, and connection that you make there will be beneficial to you. And if not, maybe someone that you know. And speaking to know thyself, big time here in this camp, in this circle, in this community. So if you're not familiar with Designing You, part of the human design. It's a beautiful freebie because you are a puzzle. You need to go on your treasure hunt, or I should say you're invited to go on your treasure hunt to find out and discover the core essence of who you are. And maybe if you're not sure of your purpose and your divine reason for being here, you can discover that. Now, I want to put up briefly my featured guest poster because I want you to see what a cool guy he is, a cool gent. But let me share with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but I want to read to you a little bit about his background. I'm mesmerized and excited by it in the best way. Eli Stamp is a U.S. Army veteran. Don't you love our veterans? A 40 years business aviation professional and a personal development advocate. Oh, you see, we're such a community. He is a founder and the president of Biz Av Jets Incorporated, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, quite a bit. And he promotes this business in every way that he can. And there's so much that he offers. He's also the co-owner and co-publisher of this Biz Av Jets magazine, which we're going to talk a little bit about. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but he'll correct me. So my friends, you know the drill. You're going to find something that makes you comfortable. You're going to sit back and relax and just make your eyes and ears tuned in to what Eli is going to share with you. So help me welcome our featured guest today, Eli Stamp. Eli, as they say on the TV, come on up.
Well, thank you, Joy. It's great to be here. It's a hot day in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I have some air conditioning, so things are good.
I know. You know what? I spoke to several people this morning already, and everywhere that I spoke to people, wherever they are, they're saying it's hot. It's hot. It's hot here too, but I guess I've gotten used to the weather. I know you're out there in Arizona, right?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Woohoo! It gets hot there. It gets very, very hot there. So, Eli, the work that you do is exciting, it's interesting, and thank you for the service that you gave for us, being a veteran and all. We all
Thank you.
applaud and celebrate you for that. But tell us a little bit about your business, how you started it, and what it's giving to you and giving back to those who are connected with you now.
I am more than happy to share. Biz Avjet started as promoting business aviation. Unfortunately, business aviation is often demonized,
Yes.
or because a lot of people feel like it's only for the rich and things of that nature. But
Yes.
reality is 80% of business airplanes are flying people who are working 12 hours a day, and they need the safety of a business aircraft. It's required by their corporation, things of that nature.
Yes.
And it often get a black eye for emissions, but all of aviation accounts for only 2% of emissions, and business aviation accounts for only 0.2%.
Wow.
And I could list a bunch of other industries that are pouring more emissions into that, but I won't. But the reason I started BizAvJets, I wanted to promote the positive side of business aviation. 15,000 flights a year in business aviation are for humanitarian purposes. And many times during hurricanes and weather, these airplanes fly supplies in, and they don't try to promote or say they did or brag about it. And I'm just very proud to be part of the business aviation industry.
And so you should be. And so you should be. I think it's beyond admirable. But let me ask you this. You might have spoke to it and maybe it didn't resonate. I heard you say, and I know this to be a fact, that a lot of people think it's only for the rich and famous, and yet it's not. So qualify us for us a wee bit about how you are incorporating and bringing that to the masses so they can see how profitable it can be for them in the long run.
Well, to begin with, it's a lot of times at the company, it's mid-range employees that are utilizing it.
Mhm.
And it was kind of by accident, but we fell into a group that wanted to fly private, and we call it BizAv Networking. In fact, bizavnetworking.com was one of the websites I included. But what happened, they decided they would like to try it, thought they would never fly private. And we chartered a plane from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, had lunch. They wanted to go to a cigar smoke shop, and we came home the same day. And it was much more economical than they thought. And it was really more about the experience than the destination. But that does open people up to say, hey, if I have a group and it's about an hour away or 2 hours, we might be able to pool our money together and afford this on a private flight. In fact, I know there's a group of hunters that charter an airplane out of Maine every year,
Uh-huh.
and they save their money. It's a big trip for them. They bring their dogs and everything. So that was how I wanted to kind of bring it to the masses, that they could actually try this periodically in their lives if they would like to do so.
I like that. And you know what you said that resonated with me, all of it, but the base that I retain here is that you said it's more about the experience than the destination. How
Agreed.
are you applying that and using that so you can reach a broader market? Because I heard all the little nuances of how you shared with us how it came about. But that experience of travel, that private travel, that is a bit upscale and ought to be, should be. How are you giving that experience rather than the destination to the people that you are marketing and connecting with?
Well, I like to explain it's like a conference in one day, a motivational conference that you go to. But really, if there's no schedule, we're not going to say, here's your motivational speech or something. But what happens, whether it's fair or not, they'll take pictures, they'll share those pictures online. And believe it or not, they'll say, I've moved up, and they'll believe that too. And they'll start
Yes.
moving up in other areas of their life. And, it's an amazing thing. And by the time you get done, I mean, because when we went together, we had accountants, we had people that sell solar. We had people that were one motivational person was on the flight, but and at the end of the day, none of us knew each other that well when we started. At the end of the day, we were friends. In fact, the accountants are my accountants now.
Isn't that the
So
best? That is the best story. That's the best example of what can be. Because I think a lot of us, Eli, I think we have these preconceived notions in our head about what something entails and what it involves. And when it comes to travel, private jet travel, most people think Uber dollars. But there's so many ways that you can get around that, which you've done. Tell us a little bit about how you have tied in and connected your Biz Av magazine with it, USA Magazine. I think that's great.
yes, yes. Basically, I was contacted by Anna Marie Buonacore, the publisher of In-Flight USA magazine, and they did a story on me and my company. And I came back and said, hey, let's do a business aviation magazine together. So I am co-owner, co-publisher. She's co-owner, co-publisher. co-publisher of Biz Abject USA magazine. And we highlight humanitarian in that, and we highlight people that have flown private. Grant Cardone was on our cover. David Meltzer was on our cover. Brigitte Herfele was on our cover. And some of those names you may not know. But I've learned so much from all of those folks that I've got to interview. And it's just wonderful. And the publishing part, I didn't really plan on either. So now I'm part of the publishing industry. I'm so grateful for that too.
You know what, Eli? I'm chuckling away here in love, my friend, my new best friend here today. You know why? Because I cannot tell you, and everyone who tunes in here now and after for the replay will hear this, and they've heard it, and I'll say it again and again. You know the number of people, and I'm sure you're the same. You talk to people who by accident, they discover something that becomes a part of their DNA, their personality, and what they do. That's just a given. Isn't that a beautiful process, though, when that happens?
It really is. And I have to say, no matter what you're doing, especially if you're ready for your second chapter in life, go ahead and start whatever it is. Put up a website, or whatever. And you may not do that it may lead you into something else. And all of us have got so much experience, especially if you've been in the industry, whatever industry you're in, and just keep continuing, because we tend to semi-retire and stay home and do nothing. And now we have all these tools available to us online and things like that. So it's so exciting for them.
It is, Eli, and that stay home and everything. I don't care how active you make yourself. It can be deadly. So what you said about second act or whatever act it is, and how people do discover things about themselves and go forward, I think is more than great, because that's how you keep forever young, not youthful, not young. And that's how you keep your energy and all of that alive and well. When it comes to this magazine that you're doing with Anna Marie, and I remember her well, I'll have her back here soon too. What is it? You said you put in there stories about the different people. Share with us a little bit more about how you do, and how do we access that magazine? I think my engineer might have a link that she's running across for you. But how do we get to that magazine? How often does it come out is what I should ask as well.
If you go to bizabjets.com, I have a link there. And we also bizabjetsusa.com. That's the website. And you can just jump on there. And bizabjetsusa.com has links to current issues that we have going that you can view online. And some of the stories that we had, it's basically, World War II folks that have retired, or, and they've been on trips, things like that, humanitarian stories, but also people that have flown private that have been very successful. We ask them questions about that.
I love that. I love that. Because you know why, Eli? Because you are keeping, and we commend you always, because you're keeping the veterans and their stories alive and well, because none of us can afford to forget what they did for all.
Agreed. And this led into another magazine that we do called Veterans Transition Advocate Magazine.
Yes.
And we just started. There's only about 2 issues right now. And that's a labor of love that we also, and that's vtamag.org. is the website for that. And we don't have the issues linked to the website yet, but we will. But that's just another facet. But I just wanted a quick shout out about that, because there's so many people retiring from the military or joining the VA that they haven't been a part of, and we want the people for that magazine that are transitioning out to have a job. And in fact, I've just connected to a California organization called Warriors in Need, and they're warriorsinneed.com. I'm basically an advisor with them, but we did a story on those folks as well. So anyway, we're pleased to be connected with veterans as well.
And so you should be. You know what? I love the title. I don't know how you came up with that, but Veterans Transition Advocate Magazine. It's a great title because it speaks to the combination of all the factors that's involved, I'm sure, with that transition. How did you come up with that? Because did you see and feel a need for that, or was it just something you began and then boom? How did that materialize?
Actually, a veteran friend of mine said, "Hey, I love your aviation magazine. Can we do a veteran magazine?" Yes, and we started talking. He said, basically, those are transitioning out, and then Advocate came up. So that we kind of came up with the name together. So that's how that happened.
I love that. I love that. Great afternoon, Sonia Erlayer. We have one of my famous friends here who's here to share time and space with us. Now, we have a lot to talk about because there's so much that you're doing, and it's all good. But before we end here, tell us a little bit about abundant prosperity, Traits. It's a
Oh,
great
thank you.
name. You come up with good names. What is
Thank you
abundant
so much
prosperity
for
trait?
asking that. Well, basically, I had years ago had an event in my life that's kind of sad, and it was really weighing on me. And I decided to, hey, I need to think about what successful people are. And so I started thinking, I came up with 7 terms. It was freedom, gratitude, happiness, confidence, positivity, improvement, and enjoyment. And successful people seem to be hitting all of those, or at least hitting
Mhm.
some of those. But even successful people need maybe to work on those. So I sat down after that and I wrote an affirmation for each of those. And so I wrote a journal called the Abundant Prosperity Traits Journal, and it's on Amazon. And it's a really basic book, but it allows you to put in journal what you're thinking about that. And what it is Monday is Freedom Day, Tuesday's Gratitude Day, Wednesday is Happiness Day, so forth and so on. And I say them every day. And I was recently invited to speak at an event called Gatherama, and is igniteyou.life, I think is the website.
Something,
And I
yeah.
was able to do that. But that's part of the personal development advocate of me, is I would like to share something that people can use as a tool and put in their motivational, inspirational toolbox. It's not the all in all, but if you add it, it's very powerful. I have them all memorized. I say them every day.
I think this is, I commend you for this. This is great. I think the title, all of the titles and what you're doing with them are so potent. I mean, it's really powerful. And you are really giving back, sharing, and yet have a business that you're aligning with all of this. That's really, I think that's just, you are a trailblazer. You are a
Oh,
trailblazer.
well, thank you. You're
No,
too kind.
it's no, it's the truth. I saw your speech that you gave, and I think it's commendable in so many ways. And again, by accident, you didn't discover this by accident, but you did see the need and you wanted to do this, right?
Yes, in the beginning it was for selfish reasons. I was wanting to try to think positive, but then when I wrote the affirmations, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I thought I think these are pretty good.
Yes, and you want to share them.
I'm going to share them and publish it.
Well, then you see, that's not a little bit arrogant. That's really like, because no matter what you do and how brilliant it might be, Eli, the ultimate aim of the DNA within the individual is that you want to share that goodness and that richness with other people. So I think that's great. Yes,
Well,
indeed.
thank you.
Indeed.
Thank
Tell
you so
us
much.
about the companies, the individuals, and the individual people and the companies, and how you separate them, or how do you get them to become a part of this Biz Av Jets corporation business that you have, so they can see that it is more of an experience than a destination. How do you convey that to them? Because
Well,
again, I'm being redundant, I'm running on here, but I know how most people think. And most people think, oh, it's too expensive for me, or I can't do it. And that's not true.
well, well, thankfully or programs like yours, I get to share about it. But it's a niche business. And it is, I can't sell it. Wow, I've sold 1,000 widgets and made a lot of money this week. That's not what it is. It's really
Mhm.
a niche event, a niche experience. And, basically like events like this, when I go to networking events, I share about it. And then there's a few that'll say, you know what, I'd like to try this out. And recently, I really didn't promote this yet because I just haven't recently, but I've signed an agreement with the Las Vegas Television Network. And
Yes.
we have upcoming plans to go ahead and record one of these networking events. And it's going to be a TV show. And I did put a press release out a while back. We wanted to do it in April and we had to cancel that date and we're going to reschedule. Well, we're very excited about that because anybody that's on the show will be able to say what they do, and they'll basically have a free commercial. but
I
but again, because of that, they'll be paying for their part, because the flight's not free, obviously. But so we're really excited about that and looking forward to it.
I think this is fantastic. Now, is that going to tie in somewhat with the abundant prosperity traits? Is there a connection there? Not really. I guess it ties in more with the veterans transition, or what does it connect to is the question.
Actually, for the people that come on those, I always share those things. you know, I'll share the journal with them. I'll share those, but I'm sure I'll plug that into the show eventually. And it's our plan to do multiple episodes, not just one.
And will
So
this
we're
be
very
for
excited.
only veterans or for people who want to do personal travel?
It's basically to expose people to business aviation. The
Business
show's
aviation.
about, right. But of course, I foresee us having a regular group. I foresee us having a veterans group. I foresee us having a ladies group. Where all these groups that really want to go together and they're at a certain level. And believe it or not, now don't hold me to this, but we're talking maybe $2,500 a person, which sounds too much for a destination, but for an experience, and if it on the show, it's like it's a huge value.
It is. And Eli, tell us as briefly and succinctly as you can what it is that they're going to get on this travel package that you offer. What do they get? They get their private, jet, and what else? What
Yeah,
accommodation?
so we meet at the private fixed base operation or the private terminal. Everybody gets on, and then you're on the flight with a flight attendant that's very attentive,
Yes.
getting your drinks, whatever you need. And then we always include a nice place for lunch. And we'll all go together. We time it so we can get there, take a limo, have lunch at a nice restaurant, and network with whoever we're at. Of course, we're networking on the flight on the way over. And then we try to plan some type of event in the afternoon, whatever that may be. It could be, a boat trip. If we go to California, we go ahead and take uh, on a nice small yacht or something like that,
Hmm.
and then come home.
Mm.
Or like I say, the one group, they wanted to go to a smoke shop, and we did that, and then
Well,
then you come home.
I love it. I love it because you know what we're talking about? And most everybody, whether they can admit it to themselves or not, they want upscale, they want first class, they want top of the line. And if you can find a way to access that, then you're on your way. And that's what you're offering people. I think it's great. Eli, I'm going to ask my engineer to put up your poster, and it has all your information on there. And tell us a little bit more about what you want to offer people and what you're going to end with your parting words, because time flies here and it's almost over. So
No, I
just
certainly
going to put up
understand.
your,
Yeah.
by the way, I love your sunglasses. I love sunglasses because I wear
Oh, thank
glasses
you.
all the time. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Well, it's bright out here. So
Yes.
BizAvJets is bizavjets.com. Feel free to visit the website. My
Yes.
contact information is on there. I have all the links of everything. BizAv Networking is on there, and all those. Feel free to reach out to me, even if it's just to find out, hey, could this be possible? It's free to check. There's no fee, and I can arrange it from anywhere. Usually, a big city is good. An hour flights, at best. And the magazine, obviously, be glad to do that. And Abundant Prosperity Traits, aptraits.com is where you could buy the journal. But feel free to email it eli@bizavjets.com. I'll send you a free copy of the 7 affirmations. You don't have to buy the book, but I think it's wise if you do, because there's something about journaling in hand
Yes.
that makes a bigger impact.
I quite agree. And Eli, I have to tell you that how you ended there is really spot on, because there's so much that's offered to you, and all of the information. I'm asking people to take a screenshot and a snapshot of your poster and all of your information. My engineer is scrolling across the bottom, and they need to connect with you because find out all the options and possibilities that are available for you. And once again, the time flies here. I don't know where it goes. I say this every darn week, but keep doing what you're doing. I'm so happy to be connected to you. And I applaud and celebrate you. And Anna Marie, I'll get to soon. My friend asked if she was the lady that you came with last time. And yes, she is. And she'll be coming on here again at some point in time soon. Eli, love your work. Love what you're doing. Don't stop. Keep going. You and I will live to be 103. No doubt about it.
Sounds good. I got 40 good years left. Joy, God bless you. Thanks for all you do. You're really helping a lot of people by what you do. So thank you.
Thank you, my love. Take care.
Take
Well,
care.
they're just
All
going
right,
to put you in
bye-bye.
the green room. My friends, again, it's the same story. It doesn't end. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure for you to come and share time and space with us. We know how active you are. Remember that this is going to be the best week ever. Make it the best week ever. I send you much, much love from my heart to your heart. And whatever you do, find a way to connect with Eli and get some more information about all the wonderful things that he's doing. a veteran. We have to applaud and celebrate our veterans every day. I do it because I had so many uncles who were in the service, and I applaud and celebrate them every day. None of them are with me anymore, but they're with me in heart and soul. You take care. Much love. All the best. Bye for now. Cheers.